Sometimes the quiet moments are the loudest. Early morning light through the window, a cup of tea cooling on the table, and a thought that arrives without asking permission. Not panic, not urgency, just a soft unease that sits beside you. It's the kind of feeling that doesn't have words right away. You might notice it when you look at old photographs, or when you hear about someone else's retirement plans, or when you catch yourself wondering if you've done enough. Not enough money, not enough planning, not enough of something you can't quite name. You don't talk about it much. There's no reason to worry the people you love. Besides, on the surface, things are fine. Life is calmer now. The pace is slower. You've earned this stage. And yet, there's that quiet question, the one that shows up late at night, or when you're standing in line at the grocery store, or when a small expense feels bigger than it used to. You tell yourself it's nothing, just a passing thought. But it keeps returning. Many people in this season of life carry that same feeling. They may not describe it the same way. Some call it being careful. Some call it being responsible. Some say it's just common sense after everything they've seen. It shows up in small choices. You hesitate before replacing something that still works, even if it's worn out. You think twice about visiting friends who live far away. You pause before saying yes to something joyful because you're not sure how it fits anymore. You might notice yourself holding on to routines, holding on to savings, holding on to what feels familiar, not because you are greedy, not because you don't trust yourself, but because letting go feels heavier than it used to. There's a story many retirees quietly tell themselves. It sounds reasonable, it sounds wise, it says be careful now. There are fewer chances to recover. Mistakes feel larger. Time feels more precious. So you double check everything. You replay decisions in your mind. You wonder if you should have done something differently years ago. You wonder if you still can. Sometimes this shows up as tension in the body, a tightness in the chest, a shallow breath when money comes up in conversation, a quick change of subject when plans for the future are mentioned. You might tell yourself you're just being prudent. And in many ways you are. There's wisdom in caution. There's dignity in wanting stability, but underneath that caution, there's often something softer, something more human. It's the feeling of standing on ground that feels less solid than it once did. Work used to give structure. Paychecks arrived on a schedule. There was a sense of forward motion that didn't need to be questioned. Now the structure is quieter. Days are more open. Freedom is greater, but so is responsibility for how that freedom is used. And with that comes a subtle fear, not the kind that shouts, the kind that whispers. It whispers, what if this needs to last longer than I expect? It whispers, what if something unexpected happens? It whispers, what if I make the wrong choice now? This fear doesn't push you into dramatic decisions. It nudges you toward standing still. It encourages waiting. It suggests that the safest move is often no move at all. You may notice that joy feels like something to justify now, as if pleasure needs permission, as if rest must be earned again and again, and you might wonder when that shift happened, when enjoying what you built began to feel risky. This is not a flaw in you. It's not a sign that you did retirement wrong. It's a very natural response to change, aging, and uncertainty. As the years pass, the future feels shorter but also less clear. There are fewer cultural scripts telling you exactly what comes next, and so the mind fills in the gaps. Often the fear is not really about money. It's about control. It's about dignity. It's about not wanting to be a burden. It's about wanting to remain capable, independent, and respected. When those values matter deeply, even smaller decisions can feel loaded. Every choice seems to carry a shadow of what it might mean later. So you lean toward safety. You delay decisions. You choose the familiar over the fulfilling. And yet, something inside you notices. A quiet longing. A sense that retirement was supposed to feel lighter than this. Not perfect, not carefree, but lighter. There comes a moment, often slowly, when you begin to see the pattern, not as a mistake, but as a habit. A habit shaped by care, responsibility, and love for the future. You begin to notice how often that subtle fear has the final word, how it quietly shapes what you allow yourself to want. This awareness doesn't arrive as a command. It arrives as a gentle understanding. You may realize that being careful has kept you safe, and it has also kept some doors closed. Not because those doors were dangerous, but because opening them required trusting yourself again, trusting that you can adjust, trusting that you can respond, trusting that you are not frozen in time. One of the quiet truths of retirement is that flexibility doesn't disappear. It changes shape. You may not move as fast as you once did, but you often move with more wisdom, more patience, more self-knowledge. The fear that shapes retirement decisions often believes that change is final, that choices are irreversible. That one wrong step could undo everything. But lived experience tells a different story. You have adapted many times before. You have navigated loss, surprise, and transition. You have adjusted when life didn't follow the plan. That ability didn't retire when you did. When you begin to see fear as information rather than instruction, something softens. You can listen to it without letting it decide everything. You might ask yourself gentle questions, not demanding ones, not urgent ones. What am I protecting right now? What am I avoiding? What would I choose if I trusted myself just a little more? Questions are not meant to push you. They are meant to keep you company. Sometimes peace comes not from making a big change, but from making peace with small allowances. Allowing yourself to enjoy without explaining. Allowing yourself to spend energy on what nourishes you. Allowing yourself to admit that uncertainty is part of being alive at any age. Retirement is not a test you can fail. It is a relationship you continue to learn. Some seasons call for caution. Some call for openness. Most call for a balance that shifts over time. It's okay if your balance has leaned heavily towards safety. There is no shame in that, and it's also okay to gently reintroduce trust. Trust in your judgment. Trust in your ability to course correct. Trust in the fact that your worth is not measured by how tightly you hold on. You are allowed to feel secure and alive at the same time. You are allowed to value stability and still welcome moments of ease. Nothing about your age disqualifies you from adjustment. Nothing about your past decisions locks you into one narrow path. The fear may still whisper from time to time. That's human, but it doesn't have to sit in the driver's seat. Sometimes simply noticing it is enough. Sometimes offering yourself reassurance is enough. You have already carried so much. You have already learned how to endure. This chapter is not about proving anything. It's about living with a little more softness. And when you sit quietly again with that cup of tea or that early light, you may notice something else joining you. A steadier breath. A sense that you are still here, still capable, still allowed to choose peace one gentle decision at a time.